The Leaders Coach podcast is about connecting leaders to an identity that will help transform their leadership by engaging in conversations that lead to opportunities for growth, authenticity, and vulnerability. As we're unlocked, we simultaneously empower others to live and lead unique and authentic lives. Let's go deeper. Welcome to the Leaders Coach podcast with Dr. Shanita Brown. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Leaders Coach podcast with Dr. Shanita Brown. I hope you guys had hope you're having a fantastic summer, because the reality of it is still summer. It is still the summertime. I thought that summer had honestly hit like the end of May, but technically it did it, and so I was like, man, it was hot then. And so here, at least here in Texas, we are experiencing some hotter days. Right now it's currently 98 degrees outside, and they said it's going to get hotter, and I'm thinking, man, like this should have happened before. But I am definitely looking forward to the fall, to the end of September, beginning of October weather. I am just a fall and spring person. I love the cool. It's perfect weather. It's not too hot, nor is it too cold. And so I hope, with that being said, I hope you all had a fantastic summer. We took a break, as you guys know. We took a break back in May, and we are started again as promised. And I am looking forward to a greater and a better season, greater impact, more knowledge, more wisdom. Not only did I take this time to rest, but I just took this time to reflect, to think, and I will be sharing some of the things that I received and I felt from this break, and I will be sharing it with you guys as we are getting prepared for our, the future episodes, right? So I am looking forward to just having just even more guests with more insight and more value. I'm just looking forward to all of that. And so again, I'm glad that you guys are back with us. You guys stood by our side, and people were just so excited about, hey, the Leaders Coach is coming back. And so I can't thank you guys enough for that. And so we are back, and I'm excited. More energy, just more everything. And so, hey, you guys know how we do it here on the Leaders Coach. For those people who are just now listening, you may have said, hey, I heard about the Leaders Coach, and let me see what this is, because it's kind of like a TV show. You have some of those TV shows that you can catch at any season because they change, because some things change. It's not necessarily the same storyline, so it's a different storyline, so you can catch it at any point. Then you have some of those shows that you have to watch from the beginning, first season, because if you start watching it at the third season, you're going to be completely lost. And so that may be you out there today. You may say, hey, I just started with the second season. So just tell me a little bit about what this Leaders Coach is about. What is the exciting part of the Leaders Coach? And so real quick, we're just about connecting leaders to an identity that will help transform their leadership. We engage in these conversations that leads to opportunities for growth, authenticity, and vulnerability, because I honestly believe that we have everything on the inside that we need. I believe that we are born with a seed or with a purpose, or whatever you want to call it. And we just need people to come alongside of us and partner with us and help us to grow and develop that seed, because all of the answers that you need are on the inside of you. I believe that with all of my heart, my faith, which is a Christian. I believe that with all of my heart that God has given us every little thing that we need. Yes, he has. And he has partnered us with covenant partners or destiny partners or people in our lives to help cultivate and to grow that seed. And so that's what leaders do. Leaders produce other leaders. Leaders help other leaders lead themselves. Leaders come alongside of you and help you to grow and to cultivate that seed. And so that's why leadership is so important. And that's what we talk about here on the Leaders Coach podcast. I am a leaders person. I am a leaders. Like you have some people say, I'm a girl's girl. I'm a girl's as well, but I'm also a leaders leader. I love to empower leaders, and I love to coach leaders. And with that being said, I've been so fortunate during the summertime. That's when I usually have my highest peak of coaching clients. And I've had so many coaching clients. God just has blessed me abundantly just this summer. To be blessed with so many clients from different walks of life. And so I coach clients. I do leadership development. I coach from a perspective of helping leaders lead themselves well in their thinking, feeling, and choosing, just kind of opening up that self-awareness and partnering alongside of them. And so if you guys want to be a part of that movement, I would highly recommend that you do. Leaders need other leaders. It is what it is. Leaders need a coach. Every leader needs a coach, because you as a leader, you don't see everything. You can't be everywhere. We have these blind spots, and in order for us to grow and develop more in our leadership, we have to understand the importance of having someone to walk alongside of us. It's okay, leaders, if you don't know everything. Trust me, it is okay. And so if that's you, if you say, hey, Dr. Brown, I've been following you on social media, I see the testimonials, I see the praise reports, I see the raves, and you say, hey, I want a coach, I want you to have a coach. And I would love to be your coach. You guys can go to the leaderscoachpodcast.com, the leaderscoachpodcast.com. When you scroll down to the middle, you will see I want a coach. Go ahead and fill out the information, and somebody from my team will be with you within 24 to 48 hours. And so let's go ahead and get this process started, guys. Go ahead and look at the testimonials and see what people are saying just about the impact of coaching. Coaching is that next trend. Coaching, you have people coaching in corporate spaces and church spaces and community spaces. And when we're talking about coaching, we're not just talking about people telling you what to do. No, these are people that are walking alongside of you and growing and developing you, because you already have the answers that you need on the inside of you. You guys can also check out my website at ShanitaBrown.com. ShanitaBrown.com. It tells you a little bit more about who I am and what I do under Shanita Brown Empowers, as well as my nonprofit Generation Elevate Incorporate. You guys can go ahead and go to my website, ShanitaBrown.com. Check all that good stuff out. And if you have any questions, there is a chat box on my website. Go ahead and go ahead and type your message, and somebody will get back with you. If you guys say, hey, you know what, I'm loving the Leaders Coach and I would like to engage and be a part of that, you can leave us a question. We want to hear you can literally hear your answer on the show. I would say, hey, so and so from North Carolina to ask this question, and we will get to your answers. We will answer your questions. Just leave us. Just all you have to do is click there, leave a voice message, and we got you. You guys can engage with us on our Spotify page. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on Pandora, YouTube, iHeartRadio, under the Leaders Coach podcast. And so I am honored and I am blessed to be back here again. So let's go ahead and hop into this. You guys know how we do it. We always do the question of the day. And this question of the day, I was about to say comes from so-and-so, but that's coming one day. But the question of the day today is from, and let me tell you, so I do the questions from the day from checkin.daresay.io. And so if you guys are anytime you're interested in there, it's a good icebreaker if you're working with teens, or if you're in the family meeting, or if you're with dinner with your kids. And sometimes talking to teens can be hard. These are just cool icebreakers. And so as y'all know it, whatever pops up is what I answer. I answer that, and I answer authentically, even if it's hard. But this question says, what's the most beautiful place near where you live? What's the most beautiful place near where you live? And great question. There are a lot of beautiful places around where I live. I live in a pretty good neighborhood, a nice neighborhood, but I have to go back to a city that I once lived in before I moved to Fort Worth, and that city is DeSoto. And the place I was living in at the time, it was an apartment, and I had two balconies, right? And behind my apartment was a small pond. And on my room balcony, I could look outside and I see this pond. And in this pond, it's just so beautiful. The flowers, that's why I liked the fall before I moved to this apartment, but it gave me even more appreciation for the fall, because the leaves would change colors, and it was just a beautiful picture just outside. The pond was green. It was y'all probably like, green, what kind of pond is this? But it was just beautiful. And I remember it was one winter here in Texas, it gets cold, but we hardly get snow. But it was a time where we actually got some ice, and the white on the pond from the snow or the ice was just so beautiful. It's just a beautiful picture. And so I would say that's the most beautiful place near me where I live, because I love the water, I love nature, I love the trees, I love the mountains. And I just had the privilege of going to San Diego, California, and Hot Springs, Arkansas this summer. And if you guys ever been to any one of those places, California, particularly San Diego, is a place where, it was just beautiful, just being on the water, just nice weather, just being able to be centered again. I said San Diego is a place that I would have to that's a yearly place that I have to go every year. And Hot Springs, it had its lake, and then the mountains and the trees. We went to the mountain tower where we went up, I think it was like 216 feet in the air, and you just look out and you can see the city, and it was just beautiful. I took so many pictures, and just nature, it's just something about nature, because for those who are believers, we come from the ground, right? We were born, we come from the dirt. And so when we are surrounded and embraced by nature, it just does something to my soul. It just awakens something in me. It just gives me peace. And so so that's what I want to talk about. And so my future home, right, will be either by a lake or somewhere where I can look out and I can just see the beautiful aspects of nature. That's where I would like to be. And so that's that. So let me get off of that, because I'll keep on talking. And so after that, guys know we go transition to our next segment. And our next segment is what inspired you, right? What inspired you? And one of the things that have inspired me since I've left y'all, it's been quite a few things, but one of the things I would say it's actually two things. So let me start with number one, since we've been talking about it, was my vacation, right? Just reconnecting inspired me. Just knowing, just having that peace and that serenity. Those are the things that just inspire me. Just looking at the trees and the mountains and saying, man, what kind of God created this? Like, that I can enjoy. And I'm not talking about these man-made things. I know man makes lakes and all these things like this, but this is just pure nature. This is things that were just created for us to enjoy. And that inspired me, because I'm like, man, this is created for me to enjoy. And just with that same mindset, I think to myself, if this was created for me to enjoy, imagine me as a leader. When I do create things, not only do people enjoy it, but they are impacted and their lives are changed by it, right? And so thinking about that, thinking about how nature works and how it came from a creator. And because it came from a creator, we as the created are able to enjoy that which was created. And so I think that's an amazing aspect, even when it comes down just to people. Like, when you are creating something, if you're cooking your favorite dish, or when you are creating an art or portrait or whatever it is that you create, and to know that somebody enjoys that, man, that feels so good. That it speaks to your purpose. It speaks to just who you are. And so with that being said, my vacation inspired me just to say, you know what? You were built for this. Everything is okay. It just gave me a peace in my heart to know that in my faith, the God that I serve thought enough of me to say, hey, I know you will visit this place years from now, and I want you to feel connected, and I want you to feel inspired. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm grateful for that. All right, so moving on, the next thing that has inspired me, y'all, we got to catch up. So y'all bear with me. The next thing that inspired me was the WNBA All-Star. They just had their weekend this past weekend, and two of the players, they went viral, right? They did a 72-hour live stream, even from when they're sleeping, eating, hanging out, all types of things. And so it was such a joy to see, because sometimes we just see the performance of people and we don't get to see who people are. And just seeing who they are, and just the joy, it just brought me so much joy, so much laughter. I feel like the world needs that, and just so much joy. And I just connected with that joy, with that sisterhood on so many levels. And because sometimes as leaders, we don't really have that I don't want to say that clique, but that group sometimes that or sometimes we don't feel like we can't let our hair down, because we do have to be this leader. We do have to act the part. We do have to look a certain way. And so to see them, and it inspired me to say, man, just to have friendships like that, and they still respect each other, they still say, hey man, this is who you are. I think that's very important and very pivotal when it comes to leadership, to have people who do not only just see you as one dimensional, but they see all these different dimensions of you, because it who we are makes us who we are, right? All of these dimensions. And Ledisi has a song called Pieces of Me, and she said, when you look at my life, well, y'all know I'm not let me look up these lyrics, because I know, y'all know me, I will mess up a song, and it's not even purposely. And I used to rap. I rap very heavily, but I remember my music, but listen to other people's music. So so these lyrics are very, very similar to when I'm talking about dimensions. It says, let me go here. So when you look at my face, here we go. So when you look at my face, you got to know that I'm made of everything, love and pain. These are the pieces of me. Like every woman I know, I'm complicated for show, but when I love till there's no more. And anyhow, she was just saying, these are all the pieces of me, the things that have made me strong, the things that have unfolded me, the things that have molded me, from love to pain to joy to sorrow, whatever. These things have made me who I am. These are the pieces of me to make the whole. And so I say that when I go back to just understanding the concepts of leadership and friendship, goes back to the WNBA All-Stars. You had the commissioner Kathy out there. You had the coach from, I believe, not Indiana, I think it was Minnesota Lynx, Cheryl, and they were just laughing, had a good time with those people that they lead. And so I think that's important, and that people see you let your hair down. And so it was just all joy for me. It was joy. It was powerful. It was women of color just doing their things, just women from all aspects of life, just living and having a great time. And for me, I needed to see that, and I just needed, and it's just that joy that they were talking about. So that's that. So those are some things that inspired me. So what has inspired you since we left? We would love to hear from you. You guys can comment on our Spotify page. You guys can comment on our Instagram at the Leaders Coach Pod. You guys can also hit us up even on our website. You can hit us up on our website by typing, hey, what inspired you this week? Because I would love to hear what inspired you this week, or what inspires you. You guys can also email us at leaderscoach@ShanitaBrown.com. That's leaderscoach@ShanitaBrown.com. Yes. All right. So here we go. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our topic for today. And this cycle, I'm already in school mode. This cycle, but this season we're going to be talking about transformation. Okay. Last season I tried to keep it around just the foundation of leadership, but this time we're going to be really talking about and honing in on transformation. Why is that important? Transformation, number one, it's important to me because as we evolve and we grow, there are things about us that should be transforming, not only just in our physical bodies, because some things transform in my physical body, then I'm like, oh, that can stay the same right there. But you grow out, you grow up, you just grow, right? And so some things, let me move on. And so transformation, right? It's just that conversion. It's just that transfiguration. It's just that, what I like to say, metamorphosis, right? It's like from a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. A caterpillar has to be in this cocoon for a while before it becomes a butterfly, right? And so transformation is just that change. It's an appearance. It's that fruit, right? It's that fruit, and that fruit that I'm talking about is like a tree. You can see the fruit that's coming from a tree by its transformation. Even with the caterpillar in the cocoon, it becomes a butterfly. It's transformation. You can see the change. Just as some of you guys are, maybe your kids get older, you can see the change. You can see the development, even in your personal relationships, your with your spouse or your partner, whatever, you see the change. And it's not just a change. The dictionary says that it's a dramatic change in form or appearance. So it's not just these subtle changes, like, oh, it's a little change, but it is these dramatic changes. And so it's important as leaders that we are living from a place of transformation. That goes back to what the Leaders Coach is about. It is about engaging in conversations for opportunities of growth, to be able to transform, connecting leaders to an identity that will help them transform their leadership. And so we will be talking about just transformation and getting ideas on how we can be better leaders. Well, before better people, right? Because who we are shows up in our leadership. And we're not even talking about perfection here, because I honestly believe that we learn how to work through what it is that we have going on. People be like, you need to come healed. You need to come healed. And I believe to a certain extent that we can be healed. I don't believe that we become fully healed from anything, at least in this life, because we still live in a fallen world. But however, I do believe that things can transform in us. We can transform our thinking, our perspectives, to where the healing as we're walking through life is not as, we know that we're healed. We're healing because of the intensity of whatever that thing is. So for example, if you were triggered by something and it used to always somebody stepped on your toe, every time somebody stepped on your toe and they didn't apologize, you just got triggered. But over time, when they stepped on your toe and maybe they didn't apologize, you was like, oh, okay, the intensity is not as much as it is when you are first walking through that healing process. And so yeah, we're going to be talking about transformation, and my hope and my prayer is that you guys will be able to lead from that place of transformation, even as I'm leading from a place of transformation. That's why I believe rest is very important. If you need to go back to season 1, our last episode, I believe it was episode 11, resting, that is so important. Go back and listen to that episode, because you need rest in order for transformation to happen. You need rest, and we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. You need rest in order for transformation to happen. Sometimes you got to create space to rest so that you can feel the transformation. All right, so here we go. So with that being said, the power. So we're going to talk about the power of a transformed mind, right? The power of a transformed mind. And I believe that you can't transform your life with the same thinking that built the old one. Let me say that again. You cannot transform your life with the same thinking that built your old one. And that's why when I was going to the definition of transformation, it has to be a dramatic change. So it has to be a change in your thinking. It has to be a mind renewal. It has to be a perspective shift in order for you to be able to understand and walk in that transformation, because a made up mind is a powerful mind. So how do I begin to transform my mind, right? How do I begin to work on this ideal of transformation? And oftentimes I tell students, and even sometimes when I'm coaching my clients, that your behaviors, your thoughts, and your actions should line up with who you have decided to become. You have to make up your mind. This is who I want to become, right? And so my thoughts, my behaviors, everything has to align with who I said I want to become. All right. You can have strategy, you can have structure, and you can have influence. But if your soul is tired and your heart is closed, you will lead from a place of a non-renewal. You will lead from a place of not that transformed place, because now you're leading from a place of being tired. Now you're leading from a place of being frustrated. And that's why even the Bible tells us, Romans 12:2, that we have to be renewed in the renewing of our mind. We have to be, transformed by the renewing of our minds. And so transformation is just not just a one-stop shop. This is a journey. This is a continuation of what it is that you said that you want to become, right? Michael Jordan just didn't become the NBA player for the Chicago Bulls just by jumping. His first time shooting the ball was not in the NBA. This was he had to transform things. He has to transform the way that he shot his jumper. Maybe he had to shoot it this way, his drop step. Like, it's just all these different ideas. And then guess what? He had to continuously practice that. He had to continuously practice it until it became him, right? And so that's what it means to be transformed. We have to continuously practice these things until it becomes who we are. Okay? So, again, transforming is really about changing just the inner narrative. It's about transforming and leading from wholeness and not wounds. Okay? It is about transforming that lead from wholeness and not wounds. And so, again, you can't transform your life with the same thinking that built the old one. So, number one, who do you want to become? And aligning who you have to become that, right? Who does Dr. Brown have to be to become who it is that she said that she wants to be, right? And so as you're doing that, it will start to reveal to you the limiting beliefs that you have about yourself, right? And that's why I believe that affirmations are so important. Because as you are affirming yourself, as you are believing yourself, as you are continuously allowing yourself to be transformed by the renewing of your mind, it didn't say to renew, it's a renewing, because this is a journey. And then as you are walking this journey, people will begin to see the fruit. They will say, oh my God, look at that fruit that has been produced from a person who have made up their mind to become something that they wanted to be, to making sure their thoughts, their actions, their behaviors lined up to who they said they want to be. And this is work. It takes work. It takes a commitment. It takes discipline. It takes work. It is not an easy journey. And I'm saying that because we're all, as long as we're living, we're going to continuously be becoming. But I have come so far because it was sacrifice. It was work. It was a renewing of my mind. I cannot think that way anymore because I was thinking that way in that season because of the situations that were going on. Now, some of those situations may appear in my present, but I have to remind myself that I have to think the way that I have to think in the way of who I want to become. Okay? So let me give you guys some tips, because this is just the beginning of our transformation, because this is going to set us up for the entire season. You guys are going to hear testimonials from other people, how they've transformed in their leadership, in their positions in life, in their communities, in their organizations. And you guys are going to be able to hear from these people of how this transformation has happened and the power of the transformation. And so I want to give you guys 3 things. Number 1, as I mentioned before, you have to rest. Transformation needs quiet. As leaders, we can't always go. Sometimes we just have to be. You have to know where you are. Create space each day to unplug from the noise. That is so important. Silence and stillness. Silence and stillness. These are tools for inner work, for leadership. Silence and stillness as you are in this transformation stage. Just like the caterpillar to the butterfly. Guess what they do? They're silent and they are still until they are ready to come out, because something is being transformed. So create space to unplug from the noise. Get you a coach. Yes, get you a coach. It's so important in this season of your life as you are transforming, because what coaching does, coaching moves you forward. It helps to move you forward. Second, take a truth inventory. That means ask yourself weekly, what lies am I believing about my voice, about my calling, or about me? And is it actually true? That goes back to what I was saying at the beginning, renewing of the mind, renewing your mind, asking these powerful questions. This is what coaching does. Asking these powerful questions to align yourself back to who you said that you wanted to become. What lies am I believing about myself? Is it true? What lies am I believing about my voice, about my callings? So take a truth inventory. And lastly, make sure your circle is called grace-filled accountability. Make sure whoever's in your circle that they're checking on your soul. Not just your status, not just your achievements, not just your performance, but they're checking on your soul. Your soul is your mind, will, and emotions. It is that is their inner being. That's what they need to check on, right? You need people who care more about your character than your calendar, who cares more about your character than what you can do for them, who cares more about your growth, who cares about your soul. Grace-filled accountability is going to be important for you guys, for us in this season. Find you a covenant. Yesterday I was at church and they were talking about having covenant relationships. That is so important as you are on this transformation journey. All right. So 1, silence and stillness. 2, the silence and stillness is creating that space. 2, truth inventory, checking in, asking yourself those questions and being honest with your response. Right. And also having just an accountability partner. And that goes to that grace-filled accountability. Have people to check in on your soul. How is it with your soul? Make sure you have people in your circle, in your life that cares about you. Right. So you guys can check us out. Continue to check us out. Share this, the leaderscoachpodcast.com. You guys can go to leaderscoachpodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram at the Leaders Coach Pod. You guys, we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio. We're just on so many places. And so we're really going to dive deep into this transformation because I believe it is so important. It is so vital for us as people, not just leaders right now, but people to live from a place of transformation, because as we're living from a place of transformation, what we are doing simultaneously, we are empowering other people to live their authentic lives. We are empowering other people to live from a place of identity. And that starts with leadership. That starts with who we are. So this has been the Leaders Coach Podcast. This is season 2. You guys know how we do. You guys have your action steps. Start thinking through those things. Start asking yourself those questions. And we're going to dive deeper into this word transformation. This is what we're talking about this season. Get ready. Put your seatbelts on. Get locked in. Hey, greater things are coming. Y'all have a blessed day. I'll see you guys next episode. This has been the Leaders Coach Podcast with Dr. Shanita Brown.